Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro, and today we come to verses 18 through 20 in Psalm 35. Now we've been in Psalm 35 last week and now this week. This week is the second half. We saw yesterday the contrast that David made between the wicked and their behavior and him and his behavior and how they took advantage. And their speech now is going to become sort of the subject of the remainder of the psalm, or actually the difference between speech and silence. We'll say it that way. But right here in 18, it's almost like we have a pause. It's like there's a Selah right here. Because you'll notice in 18, and I'll read 18 through 20 here in just a second, you'll notice such a difference that shows up here in this verse. Well, let me read for us. 18 through 20. I will give thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. All right, so we have verse 18. As I said, it just kind of stands out there and pulses with the glory of God in a sense, because we have sandwiched in between 17 and 19 this statement, I will give thanks, I will praise thee. Okay, now we could talk about the great congregation and the much people and all that, but still, he's under persecution. We have the violently speaking against him. They're tearing at him with their teeth. They are mocking. They don't cease doing it. They tear him, it says there in verse 15. And he prays there in verse 17, Lord, how long will you look on? Rescue my soul from destruction, my darling from the lions. So we don't have any deliverance yet, and still we have the statement, I will give thee thanks. I will praise thee. You see, our situation doesn't determine whether or not we're going to give thanks or not. And it doesn't determine, our condition does not determine whether or not we're going to praise him. Whether we are currently in affliction or not. Ladies and gentlemen, our job is still constant. It's to thank him and to praise him. Let's thank him while we're in affliction. Let's praise him while we're under the hand of adversity. It's just, I mentioned yesterday the shadow of Psalm 22. Go back to Psalm 22. What did Jesus say on the cross? My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why are you so far from the words of my groaning? But then in the second verse, he says, I think it's the second verse, he says, but thou art holy. You see, it doesn't matter what my condition is. That does not change the fact that God is holy. That does not change the fact that he's worthy of thanks. And so whether I'm suffering or whether I'm not, my job is to give thanks and to praise him. And you'll notice 19, let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. See, God, he's not been delivered yet. And yet in 18, he takes time to say, I'm going to give you thanks. He said there in 17, how long are you going to look on? You've not done anything yet. And yet, that does not keep him from thanking and praising God. What a wonderful, wonderful passage we have here. Now, I need to hurry up because I told you yesterday we're going to talk about this thing, speech versus silence. In verse 19, let them not that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without cause. Of course, you understand what that means. The winking with the eye is, they're making their plans and they're saying, oh yeah, we got him now. Oh, that's fine. We're gonna get him. They're hiding. They're hypocritical in their speech towards him. So they're disguising their approach. And then verse 20 says, for they speak not peace. So here's what they're doing. They're talking, and is their talking filled with peace? Is it filled with healthful words? No. They devise deceitful matter against them that are quiet. So the wicked are talking, but the righteous, the ones in the land, they're quiet. They're silent. Why? Because they're waiting on the Lord. And now we're going to see the same thing pop up again tomorrow in verses 21 and 22. They're talking, somebody's silent. So speech versus silence. The wicked are always talking, they're always boasting, they're always planning, they're always winking. The violence is in their words. But the righteous, no, not them. They're silent because they're waiting. And if they say anything at all, it's going to be what we have there in verse 18. I will give thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among the people. All right, well, join me tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We will jump right into 21 through 23 and look at some more of the speech versus silence here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.